Hi and welcome to CBN4's Primetime News Package for this evening. I'm your presenter, Alian Christopher. First up tonight, family and friends of the late Kurt Matthew, who was the station engineer of the Dominica Broadcasting Station DBS, was laid to rest on Friday, December 15th. Matthew succumbed to injuries he suffered from a fatal road collision which involved a passenger bus at Kinfield on the E.O. Labler Highway in November. Matthew was hailed for his incredible work during and after the hurricane. He was awarded a second time on the 25th of November for his diligence and commitment to restoring DBS signals to the various parts of the island. And the Dominica Red Cross, which served as one of Dominica's first respondents after Hurricane Maria, has transitioned from the distribution of tarpaulins to permanent roofing materials. The Red Cross, along with the volunteers in the construction field, have repaired the roofs of many households. According to coordinator of the Community Disaster Response Team in Layo, Dale Laurent, his group of workers is providing aid to those most affected by the Red Cross.
In rehabilitating and retrofitting of 45 to 50 roofs that is sponsored by the Red Cross of Dominica presently, and we are doing about 27 roofs in this area of Layo. We have about 15 roofs to do in the Hillsborough Garden housing scheme and approximately 6 roofs to do in the upper housing scheme to my left.
Can you tell us?
Laura admits that he is well aware that tarpaulins are somewhat bothersome when put on incorrectly. He says that while the tarpaulins provide some level of relief, they are only temporary. According to him, tarpaulins should only remain on the roof for 3 months. However, if done correctly, the tarpaulins may exceed their lifespan.
And they have no patience in doing it. But there's a correct way to do it. Actually, you must ensure that the house, you have a few rafters running from the ridge pole to the wall plate of the house along both sides, or all 4 sides of the house. Then you stretch up the tarpaulin. You fold the tarpaulin with at least a 2x4, 2x6, and you nail it along the edge of the what you call the fascia board, or the end of the pole lines, the rafters. Then you stretch it up to the ridge pole. Then when you have done that, when you have covered the side, you also now take 2x4s or 1x8 or 1x6 board, and you nail above the tarpaulin down to each rafter so that the wind doesn't blow it up. So you fasten the tarpaulin properly upon the rafters of the house and alongside of the house by folding it with a piece of lumber and nailing it alongside the house and at the front of the house.
Laura stated that the Red Cross is being assisted by the planning division to ensure homes that are repaired meet the minimum building standards. And also making our headlines, the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, the ECCB, is urging the public to be cognizant of counterfeit notes during the upcoming Christmas and the New Year's celebrations, since individuals often attempt to circulate them during the periods of heightened commercial activity and at large public gatherings. The public is reminded that counterfeit notes have no value and that persons in possession of them may be prosecuted. All persons are therefore urged to exercise caution, particularly at night and in dimly lit situations, and to look out for the security features when accepting notes. These security features include the following: security threads, raised print over foil, watermark, the novel numbering, and the see-through feature. The genuine banknotes are printed on special paper that gives them a unique feel. Posters highlighting the security features of the Eastern Caribbean banknotes are available on the bank's website. And leading international consultancy and immigration firm Montreal Management Consultants Establishment (MMCE) is slated to launch its 2 new housing projects here in Dominica in 2018. Liaison Officer Gavin Joseph said that following the ravages of Hurricane Maria, the MMCE has been working closely with the government of Dominica to help its residents who were severely affected rebuild their lives.
The government of Dominica has shared its vision with MMCE of initiating a housing revolution across the country to assist several affected communities, as well as to supplement future demands. MMCE is committed to working closely with the government of Dominica to provide the best sustainable and durable housing solutions. Beginning 2018, a total of 100 residential units and more than 50 retail outlets will be constructed for the first project named the Roseau City Square. This will be located adjacent to the financial center of Dominica.
The second project will be erected in the Pecan area called Phoenix City, a fully integrated city with modern sustainable infrastructure and underground utilities named after the legendary bird, which resembles Dominica's rebirth.
Phoenix City will consist of nearly 300 residential units with sizable commercial plazas that could serve both the private sector through retail spaces and the government entities through available spacious offices. Meantime, the project manager, Chris Timmins, said he is pleased to be announcing these two new projects following on from their existing projects in Belleville-Chopin. He said these two projects will provide some much-needed addition to the housing stock in Dominica as it stands.
In the projects, we had to consider the requirements to be hurricane resistant or resilient and also earthquake resilient as far as possible. Following our experiences in Belleville-Chopin after Hurricane Maria, we're pleased to tell everybody that there was no significant damage or consequences to the structures which we had already built up there, in so much as none of the residential units, the roads, the underground services, the drainage suffered any damage whatsoever. Building on from that, we will be taking those designs and replicating the basic designs for 3-bedroom apartments, 2-bedroom apartments in Phoenix, Picard. Obviously, it is our intent that these designs will be, as far as possible, hurricane resilient. In order to further increase this resilience, we will be adding now reinforced concrete roof structures underneath what will become a decorative roof structure above it, providing an aesthetic architectural approach with structural integrity which should be able to stand the most of the extreme climatic conditions we anticipate happening in the future.
Timmins also added that the MMCE is going to re-engineer Belleville-Chopin to also include concrete roof structures to the structures that have already been built. And stay tuned for more local news highlights after this break. welcome back to CBN4's Primetime News Package. Michael Etienne, Operations Manager at Dominica's Abattoir, located in the Layu Valley, is happy to report that the facility sustained minimal damages after the passing of Hurricane Maria on September 18th. Etienne revealed that after the passing of the deadly hurricane, the association felt it best to distribute the meats that were in storage to provide some relief. He says that by no means was that an indication that the abattoir closed. Etienne stated that its supplies have remained committed and the abattoir is fully operational.
You know, no one could prepare themselves for a Category 5 storm. So you get up next day and you realize you have nothing and you need to do something. And like the government has always said, this is and can be one of the pillars of the agricultural industry in Dominica. So the farmers are aggressively pursuing new ways, but we at the administrative level and the ministry are trying to ensure that we come back stronger and better. You know, resilient homes for the birds and the pigs. So if we get a Category 3-4 hurricane in the future, it does not disrupt the supply of wholesome good meat to the market.
Etienne noted that the fact that the facility suffered only a little damage is an indication that the building codes and standards were adhered to in the construction phase. Nevertheless, Etienne believes in the quest to build better and stronger, more will be done to ensure that the facility is needed.
The fact that we receive minimal damage, that means that we followed some codes, okay? And yes, you know, not just the abattoir, you know, every facet of our society needs to build, you know, a more resilient, you know, household, a more resilient broiler pen, a more resilient pig pen. So yes, moving forward, you know, we can't do business as usual. We have to ensure that we move forward in such a way that we are prepared better for the future. So yes, you know, whatever we do to repair the damage that we have had will be made such that we don't get that same damage in the future. So yes.
The operations manager says that the abattoir only slaughters broilers and pigs at the moment, and he is hopeful that in the coming years the abattoir will facilitate the slaughtering of other animals such as goats, sheep and rabbits. Columnist Parry Bellot says he is having mixed feelings about the 2018 Carnival season. Bellot indicated to CBN4 that Carnival is undoubtedly Dominica's culture and therefore needs to be respected perhaps more than any normal activity.
I say this because a lot of people have been suggesting, look, Dominica is not in a position to have any kind of carnival where we're building, we need money for the essentials, you know, to be so-called flittering money on carnival events. You know, it's hard to justify. I say no, because Carnival is more than just a time to free up one's emotion. It is a really significant cultural tradition, and one, by the way, that a lot of Dominicans living overseas, the diaspora, look forward to every year. And a lot of them would be coming next year because they want to check on their family, those who haven't already been here, and see what kind of progress Dominica is making and how they can help. So from that standpoint, I say we go ahead with Carnival, but obviously tone down, less events and less money spending on the few events we have.
Bellot said he's aware that the private sector was devastated by the hurricane. He said with the devastation caused by the hurricane, he doesn't expect much sponsorships to come through and therefore suggests that minimal activities be taken into consideration.
Activity, as I say, and even with the costume bans, well, the costume may be toned down a lot. And that's what the organizers will have to decide what is appropriate and what their members can afford to pay this year and so on. But I do believe that there probably should be some carnival ban, so to speak, but nothing like the old days where you spent $150, $250 for costumes and sometimes more. You know, try and come up with some basic, simple costumes and so on.
Bellot said that he is hopeful that the events coordinators, along with other cultural officers, would have brainstorming sessions to decide what is most appropriate and most likely to succeed. Also in the news, following the passing of Hurricane Maria, the Dominican government, including officials from the Ministry of Planning, Zooming in on what's left behind from the 2017 monster hurricane, a number of stakeholder consultations are revealing that closer attention must be paid to the rebuilding of roofs. Researchers inform that to a large extent, failure of structures, in particular roofs or residential buildings, could possibly have been reduced if builders, contractors and homeowners adhered to the building codes.
Maria was a very catastrophic hurricane for Dominica. It destroyed, it affected about 90% of our buildings and destroyed about 60%. So because of that, the planning department, which is mandated under the Physical Planning Act to guide development of Dominica, took the initiative to hold a lessons learned consultation.
The Dominican government has embarked on a number of other initiatives like educational programs targeted at builders, contractors, other stakeholders and the general public. So far, consultations are ongoing with engineers, architects, contractor organizations, the Ministry of Housing, Lands and Water Resource Management, the Dominica Bureau of Standards, the United Nations Development Programme and Engineers Without Borders. Development Control Officer at the Physical Planning Division, Naomi Dorival, informs that her department is conducting round-the-island training activities with key stakeholders before the rebuilding begins.
We have taken this method of actually going into the different districts because we want to ensure that we reach as much builders and contractors as possible and provide them with this essential and critical guide as we go through the build back and renovation and rebuild process on the island post Hurricane Maria.
The Physical Planning Department, partnered with OECS Island Resilience Project, will be producing a brochure highlighting building best practices targeted to builders and homeowners. Jingles and PSAs aimed at the general public are also in the works. Chief Executive Officer of Digicel Dominica, Nikima Roye John Baptist, said that since the passing of Hurricane Maria, the Digicel company has observed an understandable increase in data consumption. To ensure that all mobile customers are benefiting from the true value, John Baptist shared a few tips about data management.
Mobile data is basically transferring information from one point to another over a mobile network. So when you activate a mobile data plan, you're basically activating the ability to transfer a specific amount of information over a mobile network. However, there are different types of information, and that information have different sizes. So for example, if you activated a 5 gig data plan, one person may be able to transfer 20 emails a day, every day, send and receive every day. Whereas somebody else may only be able to download and watch 2 or 3 movies with that same amount of data. And they would both have consumed all of it because of the different sizes. So coming out of this, what I wanted to do was just to share a couple tips in terms of how to manage your data usage. One of the things that we're not aware of is that there are applications that we all have on our phones and our computers that utilize data passively, meaning that we're not aware that it's working in the background consuming all our data. One of those things is to check to make sure that you don't have any of them running in the background, such as your location on your smartphones. If that's active, every time you ping off of one of the towers, that's consuming data. You could also check the syncing of your emails. Every time your email syncs and updates and you get a new set of emails, that's utilizing data as well. You could also ensure that on WhatsApp, your settings are not set to download automatically pictures and videos and those type of different things. Maybe that can wait until you are on Wi-Fi, so you can just manage your data better to be able to get the true value of the data you have acquired.
She further stated that it is the intentions of Digicel Dominica to increase the education and awareness surrounding data and data usage. And that takes us to the end of the Primetime News package for this evening. If you've missed any of the stories, you can catch up on CBN4.com or on our Facebook page. Until our next broadcast, I am Alan Christopher saying thank you for watching.